Walk into almost any store in America. A Walmart, a Dollar General, a gas station on the corner. Look at the checkout line. What you'll see isn't just snacks, tickets, and shiny packaging. You'll see patterns. The same patterns repeating month after month, year after year. The people standing there aren't stupid, they aren't lazy, and they're not reckless spenders blowing money on luxury. In fact, they're usually the people who can least afford to waste even a single dollar. And yet, without realizing it, they're buying the very things that quietly keep them stuck. This isn't about the occasional treat. It's not about enjoying life or rewarding yourself once in a while. This is about 7 specific purchases that create a financial gravity so strong it pulls people backward no matter how hard they work. What makes this tragic is simple. No one ever taught them why these things are dangerous. So let's talk about it, clearly, honestly, and without sugarcoating. Because once you see these traps for what they are, you'll never look at them the same way again. Poor thinking versus wealthy thinking. I grew up hearing stories from people who lived through the Great Depression. They didn't have much, sometimes barely enough, but they understood something most people today never learn. Wealth is not about how much money you make. It's about what you do with every single dollar that touches your hands. Poor thinking says, I have money today, so I'll spend it today. Wealthy thinking says, I have money today, so I'll make it work for me tomorrow. That difference right there is everything. And the 7 things we're about to talk about, they are all symptoms of poor thinking. The good news is this: thinking can change, starting today. 1. Brand new cars, the fastest way to kill wealth. This is the biggest wealth destroyer I see. Someone finally lands a decent job. Maybe they're making $40,000 or $50,000 a year. They feel proud, and they should. So what's the first thing they do? They walk into a dealership and sign a 6 or 7-year loan on a $35,000 car at 8% interest. It feels like success. It smells like success. But financially, it's suicide. The moment that car leaves the lot, it loses about 20% of its value. Not over a year, not slowly, immediately. That $35,000 car is now worth around $28,000, and you haven't made a single payment yet. Over the next 5 years, it will lose another 40 to 50% of its value. By the time it's paid off, it might be worth $15,000, but you paid over $40,000 with interest. Wealthy people don't do this. They buy cars that are 2 to 4 years old. Someone else already absorbed the massive depreciation. The car is still reliable, still comfortable, still has years of life left. That $15,000 you didn't waste, invested at 10% for 30 years, becomes over $260,000. You didn't buy a used car. You bought your future. 2. Lottery tickets, a tax on desperation. Let's be blunt. The lottery is a tax on people who don't understand math. The odds of winning the Powerball jackpot are about 1 in 292 million. You're more likely to be struck by lightning twice. And yet, households earning under $30,000 a year often spend around 5% of their income on lottery tickets. That's about $125 a month. $125 a month invested for 30 years at 10% becomes over $270,000. People aren't buying tickets because they're dumb. They're buying hope. When you're struggling and don't see a way out, a $5 dream feels reasonable. But hope is not a financial strategy. Discipline is. Consistency is. The real lottery ticket isn't scratched, it's invested. 3. Payday loans. Legalized financial traps. Payday loans are not help. They are predators. Here's how it works. You borrow $500. In 2 weeks, you owe $575. That $75 fee equals an annual interest rate of over 390%. Most people can't repay it in 2 weeks because they were already broke. So they roll it over and over and over again. Soon they've paid hundreds in fees and still owe the original $500. If you're stuck here, hear this clearly. Every alternative is better. Ask for an extension. Request a payment plan. Ask your employer for an advance. And most importantly, start building an emergency fund, even if it's $25 a month. 4. Rent-to-own furniture. The illusion of affordability. Only $69 a month. Sounds harmless until you do the math. That couch ends up costing nearly $5,000 over 6 years. Retail price, $1,200. You paid 4 times its value. Wealthy people don't care about impressing anyone with furniture. They care about ownership. Used furniture, marketplace deals, estate sales. Temporary discomfort beats permanent poverty. Everything we've talked about so far has one thing in common. They feel good now. And that's the problem. Poor thinking is short-term. Wealthy thinking is long-term. Let's finish the list. 5. Extended warranties and small item insurance. These are designed to feel responsible, but statistically, they're almost always a losing bet. Most electronics either fail early or last years. Instead of paying monthly insurance, save that money yourself. If nothing breaks, you keep the cash. 6. Premium cable and too many streaming services. $200 a month doesn't feel dangerous, but over 10 years, that's $40,000 plus in lost future wealth. Rotate services, cut cable, borrow from libraries. Entertainment shouldn't cost your retirement. Fast food and convenience purchases. This is the quiet killer. $5 here, $10 there, $1,500 to $3,600 a year disappears without notice. Cooking at home doesn't just save money, it builds control. Every convenience choice is a financial vote. The real cost question. Wealthy people don't ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "What will this cost me in the future?" That $5 coffee, it's not $5, it's $30,000 over 10 years. Your action plan. Identify which of these 7 traps you're in. Calculate your real spending. Cut one thing, invest the difference. Repeat every few months. Wealth isn't built by huge wins. It's built by small, disciplined choices repeated for decades. And discipline, it's a choice you make with every dollar.